Hey, Dad. Hey,
I'm-
Dad.
I'm somebody's dad.
We have a new member of the podcast.
Good thing you can't see his hand back here because he's flipping everybody off. His middle finger up a little bit.
It's like I didn't choose this
Uh-huh.
spotlight on me. Aw.
Hi, Kayla. How are you?
We are gonna share the birth story.
So we're gonna tell our story about how this little man came into the world.
Oh, I love him so much.
Yeah.
So I'm jealous right now. You're holding him.
Oh,
I miss him, and he's just right there.
Hold him all day. You get to
I
be
know,
with
I
him.
do. I hold him all day.
Mhm.
He's so sweet. All right, so how do you think the last, what day is this? Day 8. How do you think the last 8 days have gone?
It's been a little, no, I wouldn't say a battle, but it's been like sleeping for you. It's been every 2 hours or getting your sleep when you can. And then he's feeding and sleeping. And so it's literally, it's like camping inside.
For me, yeah.
It's like camping.
Yeah.
No, but it was an amazing experience and it's been incredible. And yeah, I'm excited that he's here and so feel grateful for the opportunity to be able to build a bond and a relationship with him and with us as a family. So it's just like a great opportunity.
Honestly, for me, the last 8 days has not been that bad. Honestly.
Yeah.
For me, it's hard for me to sleep during the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like I cannot nap during the day. So that does not work in my favor. And a couple of nights I've gotten a little sick, like a little just down, run down.
Same. I felt that same yesterday.
Yeah, getting like a little feverish. When I don't sleep, my body basically shuts down. So, but I kind of like pick it back up and get my sleep, and then I feel refreshed. And 2 nights ago, he only woke up twice in like 10 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird. And then last night, it was like every hour and a half. I had to come out and be with him. But when I wake up, I'm not like, oh, like, gosh, like I don't feel like I complain or anything about it because I love it.
It's just what you got to do. This is what we got to do.
What we got to do. All right.
Yeah, I think that, I know we haven't started pumping yet or anything, but if we have some milk, I think that would help. That I could feed him in the middle of the night while you stay asleep. I think it's just hard for you to be up and feed and up and feed and
yeah. I mean, it's
constant work. I mean, not that it's, I would say like extremely.
It's not difficult, but
well, it is. I guess you just have to be available and be ready and be there. And
I got my mental right for it. Yeah. It did take a while to get in the groove of, okay, where am I feeding him? Where is he sleeping? The first 5 or 6 days, I was on the couch with his bassinet. But honestly, I don't even think I put him in the bassinet for like the first couple days at night. I would hold him and then we'd feed and then we'd lay back and fall asleep and feed. But we kind of got a good little rhythm now, I would say. And breastfeeding, obviously didn't know how that was going to go. It's been going good. The first couple of days was like, all right, it hurt. What?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, no one's ever done this for this long before. And I was really scared that was going to continue for a long time. But now it's subsided and we have a good little thing going with our breastfeeding. We just latch right on and he eats and then falls asleep. So, yeah. Oh, I can't believe we have a newborn baby.
Let's talk about the whole story about, kind of a day or two before, maybe the day before you went into labor. I asked you, I said, so, and I hadn't asked you this.
That was actually that day.
It was that day. So that day, I hadn't asked you this the entire time, but I was like, originally our due date was February 28th. Another doctor said maybe March 8th. So I kind of knew anywhere from the 28th to the 8th is kind of what we were looking at. But since the other doctor said March 8th, I was kind of expecting around that time.
Yeah. And we just gone to the doctor on Friday, and she was like, yeah, like after measuring, probably it was still around the 8th. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. So the day of was February 27th.
No, the 26th.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the day before. Yeah. It's I said, yeah, it really was. I said, so when do you think that he's coming out? When do you think Tyson will be here? And you said, I don't know. I don't think this week though. Maybe next week. And so I was like, okay, Kayla probably knows, you know. And that night, that evening, you started having contractions at about 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m. when I was trying to lay down and go to bed, and you were trying to lay down, and you were just awake, and you were up, and you were kind of pacing for a little bit. I know you had the lights on in the living room, and I'm kind of grumbling. I just got to get a few hours of sleep because I got to be up early. And so in my mind, I thought that you were having like hard, serious contractions for the first time. And because you had never really complained about the contractions prior leading up to this being hard or heavy or being like, oh, this is painful. So in my mind, I just thought that you were having strong, painful contractions and that they would let up within a couple hours, and then that would just be the first kind of wave of powerful ones. And then I expected the next night maybe for some more strong ones to come, and then maybe that would be it. But no, about 10:30 you started having contractions. And
the whole day I was pretty active all day. I went to the dog park with Berkeley. I was just like active out and about, didn't feel anything at all. And then, we just got into bed, and I was laying down in the fetal position, and I felt a really strong contraction. And I had just seen somewhere where someone posted, if you are getting a contraction, the fetal position is actually the worst place you could be. It hurts the worst. And they said, you should get up and walk them out. So that's what I did. So I was like, okay, it's weird. I'm going to like stand up and just kind of walk this out a little bit. And then like 10, 12 minutes later, another one happened. And I was like, okay. That one was pretty bad too. And then you were already asleep. So I came out here not to bother you because, I think I was just like walking around and had the lights on. Like I remember looking at the clock and being like, okay, 10:30. And same as you, like I really thought that it would just be like a couple and then go away, because I kept asking the doctor like, oh, do you just like go into labor and your water breaks out of nowhere, or do you like lead up to the day with like more and more contractions every day?
And it seemed that he was like, you have strong contractions and then you'll have more. And so that's what I thought, that we were just getting into that week of contractions, or so to speak.
Yeah, you were asleep. So I came out here on the couch, I turned on the TV, and I immediately started texting my sister-in-law. And I'm like, all right, this is what's going on. I'm having contractions about every 10 to 12 minutes right now. And it only lasted like 20 seconds or less. But
what did she say?
She was, first of all, she was excited. She was like, oh my gosh, it's happening. And I start freaking out because I'm like, is it happening tonight? Oh God. That was one of the things. Everything, we'll get into it. Everything else went perfect. But that was the one thing that I was like, I really wish I get like a full night's sleep and then wake up and go into labor, because I'm already up super early. Like I wake up at like 4:35.
Well, here's the thing. If you think about it, when he was born, like 5:44 a.m. is like typically when you're already up and you're probably almost most active, or most your mind's going that early. You know what I mean? So it's like the time that you're
not getting sleep before that. Very difficult. I was watching a movie and then I was just contracting basically. And what felt the best was to be on the edge of the couch with my legs spread. And then I would just like breathe through the contraction. She was sending me some stuff that was actually really helpful, like a chart to know kind of like where you are as far as dilation, with like how long the contraction is, how far apart they are.
About 12 or 12:30, I kind of come out. I'm like, I'm not sleeping great because I know you're pacing and I can just feel a little bit of tension or feel a little bit, something's up.
Yeah. And I think I came in there once when I was having a contraction and I was like leaning over the bed just so you could experience how much pain I was in.
So I kind of asked, I was like,
painful.
I'm like, so you don't think these are going to stop tonight, huh? And you're like, no. I'm like, okay.
And she said, okay, let me get a couple more hours of sleep.
I really thought in my mind I was going to work, be there by 5 a.m. working. And I expected to go to work that morning. I just expected like this was going to take some time.
Yeah.
Maybe I would go to work, come back and take you, or maybe it'd be the next night. And so after about 12:30, I'm like, this isn't stopping, huh? And you're kind of like, no. I'm like, all right.
And they were getting shorter.
Then I'm like, okay, well, now we just have to time this up to where we show up at the hospital super early. They're going to say, you're not dilated far enough. Go back home for another hour or two, which I just didn't want to get all anticipated and all gung-ho and then get there and then tell us to turn right back around and go home and get comfortable. So it was like, all right, I kind of had to talk to you and be honest with you, like, all right, how are you feeling? What are you thinking? Like, okay, I think I went in the kitchen, made some sandwiches and packed some snacks. And it's like wherever I go, if I go somewhere for a couple of days, I'm going to need some food. Yeah. Need something to eat. So
I really was trying to time it just right, which is super hard because just driving to the hospital, getting checked in, because I know you have to like check in before you are taken to the labor and delivery floor.
So we're driving there.
So here at the house, I was just focusing on my breathing. Every time a contraction came, I would just inhale through my nose, exhale through my mouth. And then my sister-in-law also sent me a really good app that helped me. It was like it was Christian
hypnotherapy,
hypnobirthing. Yeah.
Hypnobirth.
And there was some sections that was like gratitude, positive affirmation, some breathing techniques. And so I was probably on that app for 2 hours. I had my headphones in. I was just trying to get as much through it here at the house possible before we went to the hospital. So I could just walk right in, have them, and be done. So that was really helping me. But, oh man, I've never done this before. So I didn't know the pain to dilation ratio. So I was like, I have no idea where I'm at. I have no idea what it's going to be when we get to the hospital. But it was really painful. Really painful.
So yeah, you were in pain. I was driving, and it's just funny that we're driving at like 2:30 in the morning in Sarasota. It's a ghost town. Meanwhile, I'm stopping at every red light, and I'm like thinking to myself, what am I doing? Like, do I just run this? Do I throw the hazards on? Like,
what was I doing? I don't even remember.
You definitely didn't complain or like anything because.
But I think it's just like breathing every time they come.
A good job. I was like, breathing. I was just in my mind. I'm like, get us there as safely and smoothly as possible. I'm thinking like, don't get us pulled over. Don't get in a wreck. Don't take the wrong turn. Just like I try to stay as cool and calm and collective as possible. I'm like, I know this is gonna take a little bit, so it's just And anyways, when we showed up. I parked outside of the emergency room.
In the valet, which there was no one out there. Yeah, but that's what they said to do, is park in the valet.
Kind of a ghost town. So we ran in and
I didn't run.
Actually, I ran to grab a wheelchair, brought it to the car and put you in it, and then wheeled you past everybody in the ER, and they went and checked you. And I thought it was funny when we walked in, there was about 8 ladies standing behind the desk, and in my mind, I was thinking, oh, you guys are bored, huh? All right, we're about to give y'all something to do today because
there was a lot of people in the emergency room, and it was a blur. I feel like everyone was looking at me because they could obviously tell I was pregnant, probably going into labor.
I think when you're in the emergency room, everybody's looking at everybody. So I wouldn't think that there's.
It's just funny because they're probably all like, oh, wow, this is actual emergency.
It's like a circus in there. So
yeah. So you check in on one floor and then they take you to labor and delivery. So we were on like the 5th floor and they take me to a room. And at the time, I don't know what I was thinking, but I thought that was the room. I thought that was the room for some reason. And I was like, okay, it's like not that bad. It's kind of small, but so they strap me up, get me in a gown, I lay down. still contracting.
First thing she does is put on her chapstick or lip balm.
I'm preparing for war here. I gotta have smooth baby soft lips. And yeah, she did a couple of tests on me. I can't even remember, but and then when she checked my cervix, she was like, all right, I'm going to check your cervix, see how far we're dilated. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, I just better not be at a 3 or a 4. Like this better be worth the pain.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, she was like, oh my gosh, you're at a 6 to 7. She's like, we got to get you to a room. So they didn't wheel me in the bed, right? They put me in a wheelchair, right?
Yeah, we were in the wheelchair.
Okay, so then we got in a different
pushed you. She was quick.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She's like, you better keep up. I'm fast. Yeah. And I'm like, man, she is kind of quick.
Like speeding through the halls, and then we took an elevator down a different floor to labor and delivery. Checked in, got in the room, and gosh, this is all such a blur now. Like I remember like major moments, but some of the moments are really blurry. I think I was blocking everything out.
No, it's just
my adrenaline shock.
You're not, yeah, exactly. You're not purposely blocking it out, but your adrenaline is doing the job for you, and your hormones are all coming out at the same time because this is what your body has been preparing for.
Yeah. So then they take us to the room, and
so we go to the
Ray Ann was her name. I remember her. She was awesome.
She was a young girl.
Yeah.
She was very bubbly and fun, and
she was also very just like encouraging and empowering, and yeah, she was really good. So kind of get on the bed there, and I'm again, for whatever reason, the edge of the bed or a couch was the most comfortable. I didn't want to lay on my back, so I'm like on the edge of the bed on the side with my legs open. Yeah, just continuing to breathe, and then she suggested getting on the exercise ball.
This is the motion that you're.
That's on the exercise ball. Yeah. Yeah. So she was like, you
don't want to be a rotisserie chicken.
You don't want to be a rotisserie chicken all frozen up. So she's like, it's best to keep moving. And so let's get on this exercise ball. So I was on the exercise ball for like an hour and a half.
That's a good workout. Hour and a half on the exercise ball. That's a good workout.
So yeah, I was just moving side to side, back and forth. I remember leaning over on you. Every time I had a contraction, it just felt good to like lean over on you. And then I would do my inhale and then do my like low groan exhale, which was
the low groans are good.
Super hard.
It's weird, but it works. Like I mean, I know even when I'm working out, to groan or to grunt, kind of sounds stupid, but sometimes that happens naturally.
Yeah. So we get this speaker out and we continue with some positive affirmations from that app, which was really good.
Christian hypno.
I was still doing my breathing. Like that's all I was focused on because I knew I could not get in my head and like not focus on my breath because I would just probably freak out, hyperventilate. But
yeah, I would say that you maybe kind of started getting off track maybe 2, maybe 3 times. Like seeing, like, you and I have worked out together a lot. We've been at the gym together. I've seen you lift weights. I've seen you grunt and groan. And so it's like, I saw you getting out of breath or steering off the course maybe 2 times, and not bad, but you were just like, and I was like, hey, bring it back. You're good.
Yep. So then honestly, I think I was at a 7 for an hour from 3 to 4 or 4:30. And then the doctor came in and checked me and oh wait, no, sorry. Let me rewind.
She basically
she came in at 3 and then said I was at a 7, and then she was like, okay, I'll come back to check on you in a couple hours. I'm like, a couple hours? I'm like, is this gonna last a couple hours? I was in so much pain. But what's so weird is that I thought contractions lasted a long time as far as the duration when it's painful, but they only lasted like 20 seconds around. So I would have like a 3-minute break, and they were trying to get my intake and they were getting all this information from me. So I was like, if I was contracting, I was like, okay, hold on. I would breathe it out, and then I'd be like, okay, so yeah, my name is Kayla Rochelle, This is my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, but to me, the contractions just didn't stop progressing. I feel like most people may go into the hospital and they're just like sitting there for hours. Like, oh yeah, I was at a 3. Then a couple hours later, I was at a 5. Mine was very rapid. It was like, all right, 7, all right, 8. And it just progressed really fast.
There's a lot of stories or a lot of validity that kind of says women that are in shape or that are a little bit more advanced as far as physically, your body's kind of in tune to what's supposed to happen. So I think you did everything naturally. Your body worked like it was supposed to. So,
yep. I said from the very beginning, actually, maybe even before I ever got pregnant, I was like, I'm not going to do an epidural. I'm going to see how much pain my body and mind can take. And I was telling everyone that. So I never wanted to go back on my word. I never wanted to be the one that was like saying I was going to not do epidural the whole time and then be like, oh, I wussied out and I got an epidural.
I think, like you said, everything was happening so fast that once you got to that 7 or 8 real quick, and it's like, okay, already made it this far.
Yeah, and that actually wasn't going through my mind. If I'm already at a 7 and this isn't unbearable, I just got 3 more inches to go. Those 3 inches were freaking hard. So then I'm on the exercise ball going back and forth, and I'm starting to get a lot of lower back pain. And they were saying that that could be due to he is face up, so he was sunny side up potentially. And so she suggested getting on the bed on all 4s, which I really didn't want to do. Like, I just wanted to continue to sit there because it felt best. But I tried it one time during a contraction, and that was painful. Then all the pain was like shifted to the front. And it was so horrible. I was like, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. And I think the best part about giving birth is they actually do listen to everything you want to do. It's like, this is your show. This is anything you want to do. Yeah. So she was like, okay. Guide you. She was like, all right, let's get back on the ball. But I was still having a lot of lower back pain. So I tried it again. And so what I would do was when I was contracting, I would be on the ball. And then when I wasn't, I would switch. I would just
all 4s on the
fall forward onto the bed and just lay there so we could try to reposition him. And then when I was contracting, I'd sit back on the ball and I'd breathe it out. And
so essentially, when you got far enough along, your water hadn't broken yet, and so the nurse was under there, and she's like, your water hasn't broken yet, but when it does, it won't be long and he'll be out of there within 30 minutes. And you're like, 30 minutes? And I'm like, yeah, 30 minutes. We're there. We're on the home stretch. And about that time, your water broke while she was down there. She's like, oh my God, just broke on my hand. She's like,
I felt that thing pop.
She's like, we got to call on the doctor. Yeah. The doctor came in. It's all right. We'll have this little guy out in less than 30 minutes. And you're like, 30 minutes? I'm like,
I think I was more like 30 minutes. No, I wasn't calm about it. So kind of like a timeline of getting to the hospital at 3 a.m. I'm at a 7. I think I was at a 7 till about 4:30 a.m. 4:30. And the doctor still hadn't come back, but I could physically feel him just keep dropping. And I felt like it was expanding and it's definitely getting more painful. So I asked the nurse, I was like, can you have the doctor come back in here? Because she had said like 2 hours and it had been an hour. And I was like, can you ask if she can come back in here and check my cervix? Because I'm pretty sure it's far along. So she did. And then the doctor came in. And so about 4:30, I was at 8 to 9. And she was like, yeah, but your water still hasn't broke. So then I was continuing to get on all 4s on the bed, which I didn't love, but I guess it ended up working out in the end. But so yeah, that's when she was I don't know what she was doing with her arm in there, but yeah, it just like popped. She was like, oh, that just went all over my arm. She's like, that's never happened to me before.
Kind of towards the end, the bottom half of the bed drops out. They remove the bottom half of the bed, and then your legs kind of go up into some stirrups type thing, and they were trying to drop the bottom half of that bed out, and they're shaking it and pushing it down. It's kind of going up and down, and you're shaking, and you're like, Tyler, what the heck? And I'm like,
I mean, it was like they were going like rocking it was like the entire bed
because they were trying to.
Yeah, well, that was like when I was on my back, right?
Yeah. And so,
well, before that, though, I had to get on that cube.
Yeah.
So then they brought out this cube and they wanted me to put my elbows on the cube on all fours, but kind of elevated in a way. And that's when the water broke.
I think you were on your back when the water broke.
No, okay. I remember.
Okay, I don't remember.
I remember being like, see it. Men will never understand how much pressure is in your butthole.
Well, they said
a baby. I know, it's so sad.
Said that we'll never understand, bud. And that's rude, isn't it? Say I understand.
Like saying,
how does he? God. He understands. He was in there.
Yeah, like it's pressure on my head. Yeah,
what kind of pressure it is going into the world. So
being on that cube on all fours, I just remember there being so much pressure back there, and then that's when they were like, "All right, let's flip over." Flipped on my back. That's when they were having trouble with the bed, with the table. And then they eventually got it down and then put my feet in the stirrups. And yeah, basically I felt like my body was doing all the work for me.
Yeah, I would say that honestly, I think you pushed hard maybe 4 or 5 times. I saw you turn red like 2 or 3 times. And I was like, oh, it's going to pop a blood vessel, but it might work. I don't know. And then so you're pushing. And then the nurse says, look down. And you're here. You're here. Baby's down here. I'm looking at you. The nurse says, look down. I go. And he was halfway out. And I was like, and she said, look down. Look down. And
tell me.
Kayla said, what? I said, look down. And you said, and he was out. Look down. What?
Could not.
Look,
you are just not there mentally. Honestly, you're just trying to survive at that point.
Yeah, for sure. But when she said look down, and I looked down, I said, "Oh my God, he's already halfway out."
Yeah. Everyone's like, "Oh, did you feel the ring of fire?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
Yeah, for about 5 hours. You feel the ring of fire? Yeah, I felt it.
Every 2 minutes for 5 hours.
Butt was on fire for.
Oh man.
Yeah, so the doctor, Pat, she was really calm and awesome, and the nurse was great. I just kind of like had these moments of kind of thinking like, wow, my son is born at Sarasota Memorial Hospital in Florida. Like, how far have I come? How far have I come to have a child born where there's palm trees and just how great this city is? And I was born in Clinton, Oklahoma. Like, I mean, no offense, but I don't know if they play you a special song when you're born like they do at Sarasota. They probably ring a little bell or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that was
They probably chirp a little horn or something.
Yeah, when you walk, or not walk, when you're getting wheeled from the check-in floor to the labor and delivery,
they play a song.
They play a nursery over the whole intercom.
Yeah, I think it's throughout the whole hospital.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Or just that floor?
I think it's the hospital because someone was telling me yesterday.
So they know
at the gym. They said, yeah, I was there with my dad or something and he had surgery, but the only thing that made me happy was when that baby song would come on and I knew that another baby was being born. Yeah, so it's like a thing at the hospital.
Yeah. Everyone's just staring at you like, congratulations. So like, yeah, that was cute. But gosh, it feels like a blur now, but man.
Yeah, how do you think that the overall experience was? Like I was just like amazed at how friendly and helpful everybody was,
Oh yeah, everyone was great.
We were drinking Gatorades and cereal bars and stuff, and Kayla was smashing these Gatorades and she was drinking these little white ones. And I think back in the day they used to be called Frost.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was funny. I was like, we're going to change this kid's name to Frost. It's going to be Frostbite. Frostbite. Frosty.
So from first contraction, 10:30 p.m. to him being born at 5:44 a.m. So what's that, like 7 hours?
Yeah, not very long.
7 hours of labor, all natural. You want to say how much he weighed and how long he was?
He's 6 pounds, 10 ounces. Was he 19 and a half or 19 inches?
19 and a half.
Tyson Jay Fite.
Cord. How was that?
Yeah, no, I kind of joked beforehand, like I was going to be queasy or have a weak stomach.
I thought you would.
No, but it's like when you're in it, it's like, this is my son. This is my wife. This is my family. This is, when you're in it, you're in it. You have no other, I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere.
Nah.
I didn't get sick. I didn't get
you did awesome.
any type of way. It was just like, when you're in, you're like, wow, this is an experience. I've had a lot of great experiences in my life, and I've got to do a lot of really neat stuff, but this one kind of takes the cake. Like having a child and watching your person have another person that you guys created, and watching the birthing experience was like, I told Granny this and told everybody, it's like looking into God's workshop. It's like everything had its purpose, like, from the umbilical cord to the placenta it's like everything has its purpose. And it was just amazing and incredible to watch. And
wish I could have
watched it too. Yeah, and I cut the cord, and they got the placenta and they put it out on the table, and they were like, "You want to look at the placenta?" And you're kind of like, "No," and I'm like, "No, I don't really care." And then I'm like looking at it from distance. I'm like, "Yeah, maybe I do want to check that." And that's kind of neat, like when do you get the chance to see stuff like this? Yeah. I was kind of looking at it because in my mind I was thinking what you told me about how the placenta is like very valuable, and that if women don't want it, or they sign it over to be hospital trash, and then these companies or people will come buy it or take it, and I'm sure it's so nutrient dense, being in the human body and a mother creating it.
That was what Katie said, because I encapsulated my placenta, and I don't know, it was kind of like a weird.
She's eating it like a weirdo. Just kidding.
Eating it.
Not eating
pills.
Swallowing it.
They're all crushed. It's all crushed. You can't take it with you. Like if someone doesn't come get it, it's considered medical waste, and they sell it for like $50,000.
So $50,000.
Your placenta.
So literally, I had to make the placenta exchange in the parking lot. It's like flash your headlights twice, circle around, do not circle around, knock twice, grab the brim of your hat, do down twice.
You had to see you sitting out there in the parking lot with your.
I'm like talking to the lady. I'm like, "Where are you?" She's like, "I'm over here in the college department." I'm like, "Oh, I'm over here in emergency." "Oh, I see you. Oh, I see you. I'm running over there." "You drive a Kia?" "I'm in the Kia."
Yeah. So luckily, she did have someone come get it for me. The lady with the business, but man, that was the whole thing. We got to the next room, the recovery room, like 2 hours later, and Jenna was our nurse there. She was super awesome. Every nurse was great, helping me to go to the bathroom, just helping me every little step of the way. It was a great experience. Not to say it's easy and I want to quickly do it again, but
yeah,
I had a great experience. I mean, I don't know how much better you can get than that.
Yeah, I don't think you can do better. The doctor was calling you a unicorn. You're all natural and everything was so smooth. And so, yeah, of course, don't I look like a guy that'd be chasing unicorn? Obviously, I'm a unicorn lover.
Yes. Oh. And then we spent the next 24 hours in the recovery room, and tons of doctors and different nurses coming in and out. Oh my gosh. Like, knock, knock, knock. "Hi, I'm here for the birth certificate." "Knock, knock, knock. Hi, I'm here for the
photographs of your baby."
"I'm here for photographs." "Knock, knock, knock." Like all different kinds.
One
of
thing
people.
I did like was that lady came in and was just like, "How was your experience? How would you rate it? How could we do better?
Yeah.
Need anything?" Like, she really wanted to know, like, what can we do?
Yeah.
And so
have bigger Gatorades.
Yeah, Gatorades are small.
Just the mini ones. And I was like chugging them in one sip.
We need a little light dimmer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there was this one point in time when we couldn't figure out which lights to have on. And so we turned on one where the two were on in the back, and then I had to cover one with a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And I
lights are so bright. It's like either have them off or they're too bright. It's a lot. Yeah, he did perfect. Everything just perfect. I mean, he passed all the tests and the hearing test and the
now
metabolic
day 8.
test.
Yeah, now day 8. He's seen your grandmother, so he's seen his great grandma. He's seen
on both sides.
He's seen my grandmother, so seen his great grandma. We've introduced him to Taylor and Miles's family and
your family and some friends.
Sarah and Sam come by and bring flowers and food, and that has just been so helpful, to be honest, because sure, I could leave or go get some food and stuff, but I remember the first day leaving, I got in my truck and I was like, everything in my instincts right now tells me not to leave. Yeah. It's just like goes against my instincts to like, I took time to put the key in the ignition, start up. I'm like, do I need to leave right now? Should I leave? Like, I was just trying to prepare you because I was trying to put into comparison, just like me running that half marathon, or like, I mean, it's not the same, obviously, but it's like, I'm telling you, like, you're about to run a race that you have never run before. You know, obviously God has prepared you and giving you the abilities as a woman to be able to do this. And you have put yourself in a position where you've taken care of yourself over the last several years, that you are fully capable. Thing unfolds, you know? So you wanted me to reinforce to you that, hey, this is all going to be over soon. It's all short. And I couldn't say that this is going to be over quick because I don't know how long it's going to be. So I don't want to like feed you something that's not true. But what I could tell you was like, wow, you're doing an amazing job. And you really were doing an incredible job. I could tell you that this is a very short amount of time in the grand scheme of life, you know, like just having this child in these few hours. In years, it's not going to seem like anything. Yeah. But in that time, it's a lot easier said than done. So you have to do whatever it is in those moments to endure that pain and that challenge. And I think you did a really good job. And I think I did a good job in trying my best to support you and be there. And it was obviously a new experience for both of us. But I just think to couples that are going through this experience together, if I could say anything, like from a man's perspective, is like, give your wife or give your woman grace. Because to be honest, we got into it, you know, a few nights, a couple times before, you know, baby Tyson was born, and we were really at each other. And I was upset with you, and you were upset with me. But I think that the thing that got us through was just knowing, like, we've been through some tough stuff together, and I knew that your hormones were raging, and I have to be there for you 100%. And so that's what I need to do, is be there for you 100%, no matter how you're feeling, and know that we're going to come out of this, you know, on the other side. And so I just want to tell you that I'm sorry if I wasn't there like I should have been, or, you know, I want to play the part, and I want to be the best dad and best father that I can be. And I want you to be the best mom for Tyson that you can be. So I think sometimes we just need to give each other a little bit of grace. And if I was giving advice to parents or people that are having a child, it's like, hey, this is your first time. This is your first time doing this ride or playing this game. You don't really know what to expect. You can take all the advice in the world from other people. Other people aren't you. You know, other people's perspectives are different than yours. Other people's morals and values are different than yours. But if you do love your partner, you truly respect them, then have respect for one another and have respect for the situation, and enjoy it for sure. So what advice would you give to people that are in the pregnancy stage, maybe approaching the birthing part of their parenting? What kind of advice would you give to them? I feel like you had a bunch of friends and people reaching out trying to give you advice. And I don't think that that's bad, but I think as humans, we are overloaded with information. And then you have to take this information and you have to place it according accordingly. You have to dissect it and do with what you will, the information you're given. So what information did you get that was helpful? What information were you bombarded with that doesn't matter?
Okay, so I will say there's a couple of, they're kind of broad, but a couple of just main things that I did was just from the get-go, I was like not giving in to the whole, this is going to be the hardest thing in my life and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what to expect and I'm scared and I'm nervous. From the very beginning, I was telling you, I was telling everyone, I was like, yeah, it's going to be easy. I'm not really worried about it. And I don't know if everyone's like that, if everyone can get in that mindset of like kind of surrendering like that. But to me, it was never a thought in my mind that it was going to be, there was going to be complications, that it was going to be dramatic, that it was going to be long. Almost every day in my gratitude journal, I was like already thank you for a healthy, safe, quick, easy pregnancy, or I'm sorry, delivery. And I just had it in my mind that it was going to be easy. And that was the only way I saw it. It wasn't ever like, I don't know what's going to happen. It was like, no, it's going to be easy. And so that was one thing. I didn't do any classes. I didn't do any birthing classes. I didn't read any books.
You read you read a book?
No, I didn't read a book.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't think so. I just think information overload would have been way too much for me. So I think people inundate themselves with too much information, and I didn't do that at all. We didn't go to a class. The only class we did was the one we had to do to leave the hospital, the discharging class. So I didn't do any of that. And I can't say whether or not to get an epidural or not. I had already said from the get-go, and my mom had 4 of us with no epidural. Yeah. And some people I know. So I was like, all right, if they can do it, I can do it. So it's just like a challenge that I wanted to give myself. Yeah. So
I oftentimes use that, what you just did. Like they say comparison is the thief of joy. Like you're not supposed to compare yourself to other people because then you get down. But also I've compared myself to my friends or people that are in situations that I could be in or would like to be in. I see my friends doing something. I'm like, oh, they could do that. Like they did that. They're an idiot. I can do that. So
I can't tell people whether or not to have an epidural, but I'm glad I didn't. And then, I just had a few close friends that I trusted as far as their beliefs and preferences about children and pregnancy and stuff. So I just had a few close friends that I would ask advice about, and I feel like they gave me the best advice. Just being like-minded with those women, I definitely wouldn't go around asking everyone everything. I was like, all right, these are my 2 or 3 people that I'm going to ask questions because I trust their opinion and honest answers.
He's smiling. He was smiling.
So honestly, I mean, not everyone's like that. I feel like some parts of me are super OCD and super like, this has to be like this. But for whatever reason, this process was very much like, like everything's fine, and I surrender to the process, and because I have no control really over what happens. So I just always said it was going to be easy, healthy, quick, safe, easy. Boom, we're done.
You did a really, really amazing job. It was an incredible experience. I'm very blessed to have been a part of that experience. Like truly am blessed. And I think I even messaged one of my guy friends back home, and he said something really nice to me, like telling me how far I've come, and he's known me for a long time. He's like, man, just seeing you, how far you've come is really incredible. And just like, I'm really proud of you. And so I'm grateful for that. But I told him, I said, dude, you need to find you a woman and you need to have you a kid. Because it's it's an awesome experience. So I'm like, you're missing out a little bit.
Oh, I know. It's just one of those things that you truly cannot fathom the way you're going to feel until it happens.
Well, like we've always said, it's like, oh, I'm glad I've got to live my life and do what I want to do. And I am. But then now that I'm had him, I'm like, well, I'm already, 35. It's like, if I would have had him 5 more, if I would have had him a few years ago, I had a little bit more time with him. But so it's like your perspectives change in life. And that's okay.
Yeah, he's the best. So you already want to do it again?
I think that if we had a little girl, and I want to tell you that I'm thankful that, we got to pick out this name, and we went with Tyson Jay. And Jay, the middle name, is my dad's name, and he passed away in November. And originally we had picked out the name Trace as a middle name. So Trace was kind of representative of Tracy, which is my mom.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to name him Tyson Trace. And so I told my father that, he's like, Tyson Trace, that's cool. That's cool. I like that, And so then after he passed, I still wanted to go with Tyson Trace because I like that. But I thought, you know what? He's going to grow up getting to know my mom. He's going to get to know Tracy, He didn't get to know Jay, didn't get to know his grandpa. And he's a guy, and I know he's going to have some of his characteristics, or there's going to be little flashes of him in there. And yeah, so I think, not that we're planning on having another child, but if we did, I would want it, hopefully to be a girl, and hopefully to honor your mother and honor some people in your family. So I'm grateful that you allowed me to honor my family and my people, and I'm grateful for that, and because it's a big deal to me.
Yeah. I'm glad that your dad at least knew you were having a boy.
Mm-hmm.
Having a kid for one, and then having a boy, and then getting to hear his name. So that's good.
Yeah, everything comes full circle for sure. He's already got a good set of hair.
I know.
Don't you, bud? We're gonna have to get you a haircut scheduled.
Oh.
He doesn't cry around too much. He's pretty good.
Oh, he's chill. He's chill.
Okay, so I have a picture in the
you
picture
to do
frame,
picture,
but
which I haven't seen.
This has nothing to do with Tyson, but this is just a good moment, a good moment of time, and the picture frames. Well, never mind. We'll have to edit that out.
No, we're gonna keep that in. It just broke. I don't know what's happening. Okay,
what'd we do?
go.
What'd you do?
Just picked it up. Aw.
What'd you do? Let me see.
What? We'll fix it in a second. It's literally broke. It's cheap.
Oh man!
It just snapped off. Oh, that was.
You owe me $12.50 for that frame.
It's not $12.50. There's no way that was maybe $2.50 if that.
So, anyways,
yeah, this picture that was at hold on. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Evergreen.
Yeah, Evergreen.
It was an E.
Where at? Where was this?
Evergreen, Colorado.
Okay.
Top of the Three Sisters Trail.
There you go.
Overlooking that school.
Three Sisters Trail in Evergreen, Colorado. It's a pretty place in Colorado. Nice hiking. We went there several times. What I thought was pretty cool about that town is they have the local high school right there, and then if you hike up one of the trails, you can look out over and see their football field. And I just thought, well, this is poor placement for their football field. These local schools are going to be scouting them, watching all their plays. I know I would be if I was their rival.
Yeah.
But no, Evergreen was real. So I think it was that day that we hiked up, and we had the hammock, and a storm rolled in.
Yeah.
And so we had to make the decision, like, do we hike back 2 or 3 hours or 2 hours or whatever it was, an hour? Do we hike back, or do we just kind of weather the storm, so to speak? And so we did. We put that hammock, we flipped it upside down, we sat under it.
Didn't we sat on one end and then put it over us on the other? Right?
I thought we just flipped it up over our heads and kind of sat under it.
Yeah.
It was just like a little rain tarp, and we just sat there and enjoyed it. So
that was fun.
Simple times.
Yeah. Can't believe we have a baby. What is happening?
Yeah, he's good.
What are you most excited about?
Honestly,
fatherhood.
Just building memories, like I can remember all the way up to, when I was really little and my dad taught me how to ride a bike. Like I can remember him specifically taking the training wheels off and pushing me on the bike, and I had to pedal, and I couldn't stop.
You're gonna learn how to do this without training wheels.
I'm pretty sure I would just ride it straight all the way into the curb, jump off at the end. I didn't know how to stop yet.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. I'm just looking forward to, building memories with him, seeing him do pull-ups and seeing him learn about everything, and it's really fun to see him and want to watch him like be able to. You're laughing. He's laughing. You think that's funny? Yeah.
Oh.
He's laughing. Yeah, I just want to see him like be able to grow and recognize stuff and learn, and it will be my new way of seeing the world through his eyes, you know, which is cool. It's cool, bud.
All right, so Tyson Jay Fite. Yeah. That is your birth story.
6 pounds, 10 ounces, future middleweight champion of the world.
All right, let me hold him really quick.
Yeah, you want to hold him?
A little sweaty. My little squisher.
Yeah, you've really done a good job about being attentive to him, and
I love him. Yeah.
We have to
newborns. I love when they like scrunch into your chest. We have to
shout out to Berkeley too for being a good big brother. He is an awesome dog.
Yeah.
And when we came home from the hospital, it was like he knew what was going on. When we left in the middle of the night, he's kind of thinking, what the heck?
Yep.
And I think once we showed back up to the house, he was just so excited to have us all here.
Yeah.
And he hasn't left the baby's side.
Nope.
Always curled up next to him.
Hasn't left our side. Anywhere we go, he's right there.
Well, anything else you can think of, you need to say, you need to talk to the world, tell them?
No, just never thought I'd have a baby. But now that I do, it's the best. The best thing ever. Wow. I'm not biased, but he's a cute baby.
He's a good looking boy.
He's a cute baby. I love you.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
Aww.
Guys, all take care of each other. Peace, love, and harmony.
All right, bye. Love you, babe.
Love you too.